Why did Nepal, a small Himalayan kingdom, survive as an independent nation while nearly every other South Asian land fell under foreign rule? At a time when the British Empire stretched across India and China loomed to the north, Nepal alone stood unconquered. The answer lies in a mix of geography, fierce warriors, and clever diplomacy that turned this mountain kingdom into an unbreakable fortress. High in the Himalayas, Nepal's geography was its first great defense. Towering peaks, narrow valleys, and dense forests made invasion an almost impossible task. Unlike the open plains of India, where vast armies could march with ease, Nepal's rugged terrain slowed every movement. Supply lines stretched thin, soldiers faced hunger and exhaustion, and the mountains themselves became an ally to the defenders. Conquerors might have dreamed of controlling Nepal, but the landscape made such ambitions costly. Yet geography alone was not enough. Nepal's warriors gave the country its second line of defense. The rise of the Gurkha kingdom in the mid-18th century united much of Nepal under the leadership of King Prithvi Narayan Shah. He believed in discipline, self-reliance, and military readiness. The Gurkhas, as his soldiers came to be known, developed a reputation for fearlessness. Armed with the kukuri, their curved blade, they fought with skill and tenacity. So formidable were they that later, even the British would recruit Gurkhas into their own army, a mark of respect for enemies who could not be subdued. The greatest test came in 1814, when the British East India Company decided to invade. The Anglo-Nepalese War began with confidence on the British side. After all, they had defeated mighty Indian kingdoms, French forces, and countless smaller states. But Nepal proved different. At Nalapani, a small garrison of Gurkhas held off a vastly larger British force for weeks, fighting to the last man rather than surrender. Even though the British eventually gained ground with superior numbers and artillery, they were shocked by the courage and skill of Nepalese fighters. The war ended in 1816 with the Treaty of Shigoli. Nepal lost some territory, but crucially, it remained independent. The British had learned a hard lesson: conquering Nepal outright was not worth the cost. From that point on, the strategy changed. Rather than trying to subjugate Nepal, the British chose to respect its sovereignty while forging military and political ties. This led to Nepal's third secret weapon: diplomacy. Caught between two giants, Britain to the south and China to the north, Nepal skillfully played one power against the other. It maintained enough distance to preserve autonomy, while also cooperating just enough to avoid provoking full-scale conquest. The monarchy understood that survival required balance. By negotiating treaties, allowing Gurkhas to serve in the British Army, and presenting itself as a buffer state in the Himalayas, Nepal kept both empires satisfied. Cultural unity also played a role. Unlike many regions divided by rival kingdoms, Nepal had been consolidated early by the Shah dynasty. The monarchy fostered a sense of national pride and resilience. The idea of defending sovereignty became part of Nepal's identity. Every attempt to intrude upon that sovereignty met with fierce resistance, both militarily and politically. By the 20th century, Nepal's survival was no accident. It was the product of natural defenses, fearless soldiers, and shrewd diplomacy. When India gained independence in 1947, Nepal stood apart, not as a former colony, but as a kingdom that had preserved its independence through centuries of pressure. Today, Nepal is remembered not only for its breathtaking mountains and cultural heritage, but also for its unique place in history. While powerful empires rose and fell around it, Nepal's determination to remain free never faltered. The lesson of Nepal is simple but powerful. Even small nations can resist conquest when geography, courage, and diplomacy combine. It was not wealth, numbers, or technology that preserved Nepal's freedom, but the unyielding will of its people and the unshakable strength of the Himalayas. So the next time you look at a map and see Nepal, remember, this small mountain nation defied the greatest empires of its time. And in doing so, it proved that independence can be preserved even against impossible odds.